Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Melt Show. I'm your host, Max. In this episode, we're removing and partially disassembling the carburetor bank. My bike has pod filters. Not my choice, but I did find the best ones I could that clear the frame. If your bike has the original airbox, this would be a bit more involved. Next up, you have to loosen the clamps on the intake manifold boots. Then there are the two throttle cables, push and pull. Loosen the 10mm nuts, and then you can slip out the tensioning rods and finagle the cable ends out from the mechanism. If you've got a crankcase breather hose, this is a good time to remove it. Then you just need to rock the carbs up and down until they work themselves free. You can tell that the float bowl of carb number 1 is pretty shiny. I removed it last week just to see how well it would polish up, and I found a surprise. But this is the first time I'm seeing the upper part of the carb body, and it's not good. See, prior to sitting, the main jet towers had shown some signs of erosion, but they still functioned. Water must have worked its way into this one carb while it sat. To remove the floats, you need to push or pull these little brass pins out. The floats, along with the float needles, make sure the carburetors have just enough fuel to run the bike without flooding the engine with gasoline. Now I'm removing the main jets. They all looked fine. Stock jetting. Next up are the slow jets. Again, these were pretty much fine. Finally, the big reveal. This stuff was like dried toothpaste. Forbidden salt. Once I let a wave of despair just pour through my frame, it was time to remove the float needles. These screws help pin down the float needle seats, which will come out next. Each carburetor has its own air screw. It's good practice to screw it in all the way and make a note of how many turns in it's set to. Then you can back them out. There's also a spring and a washer hiding in there, but I had the darndest time getting them out. I decided that was a problem for later. The way these carbs work is you've got carbs linked together in pairs, and then the pairs are linked together. I'm removing the bits that make the carbs respond simultaneously to you twisting the throttle. It's a bunch of springs and little bits that you'll want to keep organized. You do all 4 of those, and then you need to undo the 4 adjustment screws. It's an 8mm nut and then a flathead screwdriver. I ended up cutting the old fuel line to make my life easier. At this stage, each pair of carbs is held together with a bit of fuel line. Hulk them apart, just try to avoid hitting your hand on something hard. I called it a night here, and the next afternoon did what I could to remove the aluminum oxide from carb number 1. You can see how little material is left in there, and unfortunately, that means I won't be able to use this carb body. So, time for some polish wheel therapy. Thanks again for watching. See you next time.